Hello and welcome to Elecspo. My name's James and today I've got something a little bit different for you. I want to bring you my best ever football manager save. I've had some great ones over the years, but it was one I started in March last year that really got my juices flowing. I'll paint a picture for you. It's lockdown, people are bored. Some turned to gardening, others did yoga. But me, I booted up Football Manager 2015 and embarked on a 37-year journey around Europe that is still going on today. Sun, rain, wind or snow, I was playing this save whenever I got the chance, to the point in which I think my girlfriend would have left me had we not been stuck in the same house together. I've put more hours into this than the 2 dissertations I've done, and I've probably got more to show for it. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, my best ever Football Manager career. Right, here we are, Football Manager 2015. Let's hit load last game. You can see it is named NUFC, but that is not where I am anymore. More on that in a moment. I will detail my incredible journey throughout Europe, across some of the biggest leagues in the world. Currently, we are in the Bundesliga once this eventually loads. Come on, guys, come on. Quicken this up. Quicken up the pace. The more die-hard Elecspo fans might actually remember this save. I did a few episodes, 4 or 5, I think, looking at my time at Newcastle at the start of this career. This was back in about probably March, April last year. Not long after I'd just taken over Elecspo. But here we are on the 18th of March, 2051, 37 seasons into the future. We started in July 2014. Here we are 37 seasons later and we are at Schalke or Gelsenkirchen, but that's fine. We are top of the league after 26 games in what is my debut season in the Bundesliga. This is my profile. We started at Newcastle in 2014. We spent an incredible 22 years at St James's Park. I resigned in 2036 after pretty much doing everything I could. I wanted to try something new, and I basically went on a little holiday to Real Madrid. We had a couple of years there. We had a couple of years at Milan, which didn't go quite as well, more on that later. Then we returned to England in 2040 to spend a decade at Manchester City, making them unanimously the best team in the world. In 2050 we resigned once more. We've done that a few times. I just like to, because we're not going to get the sack, and I like to, challenge myself. I walked out when my contract expired and I headed to Germany to manage Schalke. This was the team at the start of the simulation. I've gone back, way back to the first season. We actually finished third in our first season. Here you can see we were competing for Champions League football, which was beyond our wildest dreams. We had the likes of Daryl Janmaat, Colaccini, Moussa Sissoko. I'd signed Gini Wijnaldum. I brought in Christian Fuchs and I brought in Virgil van Dijk. Some reliable names, some players who did great things in Newcastle shirts, and this was incredibly a team that somehow finished third in the Premier League. But that was only the start of this incredible 22-year journey at St James's Park. By 2025 we were 2-time Premier League champions. There you are, Newcastle United at the top of the Premier League. We took a few seasons just to solidify ourselves. Obviously after that finishing third, we dropped off 7th, 9th. Then we were up to 4th in 2019, and from that moment on, we never looked back. They were always in the top 4, and then we won our first trophy. It came in 2021 when we won the League Cup, beating Arsenal 1-0 thanks to a Football Manager Old Faithful, Carlos Fierro. Since gone on to win 2 titles here at 2025, we eventually won 7 Premier League titles, but this was a golden age for the team. I'm going to give you a look at some of the players. We had big names in the real world like Julian Brandt. He cost 30 million. Look at that, absolutely sensational, hitting double figures every season. Eventually he would throw his toys out the pram and want to leave. Kennedy was an absolute star, playing on the right wing, number 10 on his back. Look at, again, amazing numbers, 22 goals in his first season for Newcastle United. Then the regens, this man Andre, one of the greatest strikers I have ever seen, only to be eclipsed by another striker later on in this simulation. Here's Andre, finishing 19, heading 17. I mean, everything attacking wise, he's brilliant at. He's just not very brave. But that's fine because his goal scoring returns, absolutely sensational. In this season where we won the title, 29 goals, 25 assists. In his second season, 41 Premier League goals, a Premier League record. This is a man who went on to break Alan Shearer's goal scoring record for Newcastle United. But my real crowning achievement was little Ricky Cohen. He was signed as a regen at the start of the simulation from Wolves, £2.9 million, and it didn't take him too long to get into the Newcastle first team. And you can just see how creative he is. This season here, 21 assists. The 24-25 season, 13 goals, 18 assists. If it wasn't for the fact he got kicked to bits and was just injured a lot of the times, he would have been one of the world's best. But for me, probably the best player I've had throughout this 37-year career. Absolutely amazing. At this point in time, he was only 24. There was still much more to come from Ricky Cohen. In Newcastle United, I spent just shy of 22 years, 7 league titles, 22 cups. We won multiple Champions Leagues as well. The first one, we were actually beaten in our first final. We got beaten off Shakhtar Donetsk, which was pretty disappointing considering you're thinking Shakhtar Donetsk in your first Champions League final. Absolutely nailed on. But we didn't win it. We got back-to-back titles in 2034, 2035. But come 2036, we came second and I decided it was time to walk away. Newcastle had become the biggest club in the world. I'd done all I could with them. We had a sensational team, incredible young players. We'd won everything. And I wanted to try something else. So in 2036, on the 13th of May, I resigned. It was a big emotional goodbye. I put time to say goodbye on YouTube. Again, pissed my girlfriend off massively, but tough for her. We'd just bought a house so she couldn't get out of it. And whilst it was a teary departure from Newcastle United, I wondered what was next. And it took me all the way to the Bernabeu, where I got 2 years at Real Madrid. And when you're thinking 2 years, you're thinking, well, you didn't last very long. It was like a holiday. It was so easy. I got to Real Madrid on the 3rd of September. The transfer window was already closed. I think the manager had just taken the Spain job or something. Typhoon Korkut. He resigned. And I spent 2 seasons at Real Madrid. 2 league titles, 2 Champions Leagues, another couple of cups. And it was just so easy. There was no challenge whatsoever. Even now, plenty of years on, there are still a couple of players from my era. Elecspo, a great attacking midfielder from Ukraine. He's about 36 or something now, I think. 38. I mean, look at those. The amount of 20s there mentally. He was an absolute machine in his first season. Another signing I made, Nuno Fernandes. A regen with a name that sounded a lot like Bruno, so I brought him in. I spent decent money on him, 30 million quid from Porto. To be honest, a lot of time he was like Bruno Fernandes, a bit of a penalty merchant. Since I've gone, he's kicked on just as I knew he would. A fantastic attacking midfielder. But after 2 years, a league and European Cup double, I once again decided there wasn't really much point hanging around, so I resigned from that role as well. And this time, we went to Italy. And this is where things became a little bit more tricky. At Inter Milan, I had a bloated squad and barely a penny to spend. I had players who I didn't really know much about and I didn't know what to do. So I turned to a man I was very familiar with from my time at Newcastle United, Imad Nassiri. He was a player, when I signed him for Newcastle, I signed him back in 2029 from St Etienne for £25.5 million. He was a signing I made just because I didn't really want anyone else to get him. And it took a while for him to find his feet at St James's Park. But my oh my, once he did, I mean, he was an attacking midfielder or a centre midfielder. I ideally wanted him to play as like a deep lying playmaker alongside, I think it was Ruben Neves I had at the time. He was much better as a 10. You can see there, 16 Premier League goals, 18 assists, some amazing seasons. And even though by the time I signed him in 2038, I think he was about 32 or whatever, I brought him in for £2.2 million. In that first season, he really steadied the ship at Inter Milan and he helped me take Inter Milan to the Serie A title. There it is there, 2039, Inter Milan top of Serie A, and then things went a little bit south the next season. We came third, we were in title contention for a while, and things just fell off a cliff. We came third, we were in title contention, then injuries hit, our form fell off a cliff. This was when the injuries started to hit. We got knocked out of the Champions League by Marseille. We did win the Italian Cup, we beat AC Milan in the final, but some terrible results. We got hammered off Lazio, beat off Juventus, drew with AC Milan. An awful end of the season actually made us finish third in the league, and it was at that point the board started asking questions, which I thought was quite frankly ridiculous considering before I'd arrived they hadn't even came close to winning the title. So you know, I was an arsehole about it. I just said to them, you're not going to get anyone better. If you want to sack us, and they did. So So I was out of the job. And that's the only time in this 37-year career that I've been sacked. So screw you, Inter Milan. We had some good players. Anthony Belfiore, an amazing striker. Rafael Rosado was great. Dio and Nana, he was crap. I don't know how he is a club legend. I had him at Real Madrid. I sold him to Inter Milan, not thinking I would be Inter Milan manager in the future. He was there. It just wasn't very good. The real star for me, especially in that first season, was Nicola Milanese, an Italian left wing back or left winger. He's now at Torino. That was my season with him when he was incredible. 15 goals and 22 assists. The season after he wasn't quite as good, but he was still damn impressive. After that season, I just wanted to sign him all the time. And Milan just wanted so much money for him. I never could complete a deal. But as I say, I was sacked in the summer of 2040, the one and only time I was sacked in this save. So I had to find a new job, and off we went back to the Premier League to Manchester City. At the time I thought that it was a good idea going to Manchester City. While they'd won the title in 2039, before then they kind of hadn't been great. When I arrived at the Etihad, I realised what an absolute shambles I'd rocked up at. Every player was earning ridiculous wages, like in excess of 200 grand. So I couldn't sell them. The club had no money. And it was just an absolute shambles. The reason being, the season before I arrived, you can see there, Sheikh Mansour leaves the club. It was sold to Chris Lake, and he just wasn't as rich. After my first season, where, I really hated being at Manchester City. I wasn't enjoying it at all, but I knew it was a project, had to see it through. At the end of the first season, we failed financial fair play regulations, meaning we would be banned from the Champions League. But a silver lining, it meant we could focus all our attentions on the Premier League. And we did the treble. An FA Cup, a League Cup and a Premier League. The domestic treble to solidify ourselves as the new Manchester City manager. Man City were back and we were going to become a force. After that first win, we came second the season after. Then every single season, I won the title. 7 consecutive Premier League titles, getting easier and easier every season we went. The squad was absolutely sensational. We also won 6 Champions Leagues as well. I think in total during my time there, I won 32 cups. You can see it there, just over 10 years in charge, 8 league titles, 32 cups. The best spell of my career. Whilst I love being at Newcastle, it wasn't as lucrative as those 10 years at Manchester City. I won more trophies in half the time. That's how easy it became at Manchester City with the team I was able to build. Some of the amazing players are still there. The one I want to point out, who is better than Andre, the striker I pointed you in the direction of before, the man who beat Alan Shearer's record, Romaric Saudi. He cost me £65 million from Chelsea, and my word was he worth every single penny. Look at those goals. In his first season, 49 in all competitions. The next season, 50. Season after that, 56. Then 58. Every season getting better and better. In my final season, the only reason he only scored 21 goals was because he was injured for half of it. While his finishing is only 16, heading only 8, it's his physical attributes which just make him unbelievable, and his composure, his decision making, his anticipation, always in the right position, and just so strong and quick. He was unstoppable, and one of the main reasons why this Manchester City team was so good for me. Augusto Akisto, another great signing. I spotted him during the Club World Cup we were playing. I think it was it Independiente? Estudiantes, sorry. I had a look at his ratings, doing brilliant. I managed to somehow get him for £11.5 million. Started off a bit of a penalty merchant. He was a bit of a stat padder. Gone on to become Manchester City captain. Always pulling the strings in the middle of the park. Ben Sturdy. What a name that is for a centre-back. Sturdy. That's exactly what he was. One of my first major signings at Manchester City. £32 million from Swindon Town. Swindon, who had a big resurgence, actually won a Europa League. I mean, that's incredible. 7.8 in his first season. Amazing stuff from Ben Sturdy. An absolute rock at the back for me. barely put a foot wrong. 20 for marking, 20 anticipation, concentration 20, positioning 20, leadership 18. We had a team full of leaders, a team full of absolute stars that would dominate the Premier League year after year. But in 2050, I decided to walk away once again. I decided I'd done all I could. It wasn't really getting fun anymore. It was a little bit boring. I wanted a challenge, and that has brought me to Schalke. I wanted to join a Bundesliga club, and Schalke were the team I got. And just like Manchester City, at the start it looked like a massive, massive mistake. I had no money, and I literally had no defenders, barely any defenders. When I arrived at the club, Predrag Todorovic is the only star defender. Serbian left wing back, very, very quick, not too bad defensively, crossing's just okay, and he was the only real star I had at the back. There's Ronnie Hirsch, who's not great. How's he been getting on this season? Doing okay. Martin Caballero at the back, he's shocking. And there generally wasn't any right backs. I had to promote Axel Holtz from the youth side at 16, only earning 900 quid a week. Luckily he's doing alright, otherwise this team would be an absolute shambles. Managed to get a couple of bodies in January, but the reason we're doing so well, we are top of the league leading the way, mainly is Christopher Wolf. German striker, composure 20, finishing 19, heading 16, fairly quick, strong enough, good off the ball, an absolute menace in front of goal. He was a free signing from Hoffenheim. It wasn't my signing, I can't take credit for it. But in this, my first season, he's already scored 32 goals in all competitions. He's not the only star. Christian Carvalho, also a top player. Chilean left winger. 7 goals, 11 assists so far. Pretty good from him. And my other star player, Usman Jawo, an Italian attacking midfielder, who's just incredibly consistent and is capable of scoring absolute wonder goals. 16 goals and 10 assists so far in the Bundesliga. The thing is though, this isn't a great team. I haven't really had long enough to put my own stamp on it, get players in. But somehow we are top of the Bundesliga. It's a three-way dance for the title. We're ahead of Borussia Dortmund and we're ahead of Borussia Mönchengladbach. We lead the way with just 8 games to go. Will we hang on? It would be our first title since 2045, my first title in Germany. It would mean another country clocked. We've done England, we've done Spain, we've done Italy. Now we're trying to do Germany. But will we be able to do it? We're still in the Champions League as well. We've just had an incredible comeback. We drew West Ham. West Ham actually one of the better teams in England now. And we got beaten the first leg 4-2. Fortunately though for us, at the London Stadium, a Christopher Wolf 4-goal salvo was incredible and put us through 7-7 on aggregate, going through on away goals. We are into the quarterfinals where we will play Atletico Madrid. Unfortunately after that we got beat 7-2 off Werder Bremen, but I mean it was the first time I played in a while, so I was a little bit rusty, okay? That has been the story so far for this incredible career. And it's a career that's still going to keep going. Let me know in the comments below if this is something you'd want to see, like a Let's Play sort of series. We'll do a few games an episode or whatever. I'll update you on what's going on in the simulation. We can get to meet the players, see who we like, decide who to sign, all that jazz. Let me know in the comments below if that is something you would like to see. You can see there the amount of trophies we've won are absolutely sensational. Club World Cups, European Cups. Sometimes we're in 5 trophies in a year. Sorry, 6 trophies rather. Well, the Community Shield doesn't really count, does it? We haven't really gone many years where we haven't won a trophy. The last time we didn't win a trophy was that first year at Manchester City when it was just about surviving financially, really. After that first Premier League title with Newcastle in 2023, we would win a trophy every year. Even in Milan, I won a trophy every season and was inexplicably sacked. Damn you, Inter Milan scumbags. There's been amazing players. Ricky Cohen, as I've already said, my absolute favourite. He's trying to become a manager, but it's not really working out for him. He spent his whole career at Newcastle. Hit 20 goals one season. When he was fit, he was absolutely amazing. The problem was with the way he played. Played a little bit like Jack Wilshere, if Jack Wilshere had ever amounted to anything. Amazing on the ball, could score stunning goals. Timo Robben, another good player. I signed him from Schalke, £71 million. The most expensive signing I ever made. I only got 2 years out of him, but he ended up spending the rest of his career at Newcastle. My most expensive signing ever on the left wing. In total, I've bought 156 players for a value of £1.57 billion. Sold 109 for 761, but I mean, I don't like selling players. I'm pretty sentimental in that respect. Hall of Fame, I've been number one, the number one manager in the world. I've earned £95 million. Haven't been able to spend a penny because it's just a stupid thing about Football Manager. I've won 68% of my games and won 62 cups and 18 league titles. Never promoted, never had to be, never relegated once. In fact, I've never not finished in the top half of the league. While all that's been going on, the Premier League is a very, very different place. I mean, Man City are the top dogs because of everything I did. Sheffield United, one of the bigger teams now. West Ham performing well. Rochdale, a Premier League club. Charlton are in there. And Tottenham in the relegation zone. But that doesn't tell the full story. Tottenham actually only just came up to the Premier League once again. They were relegated in 2046. And they aren't the biggest club who were once relegated from the Premier League. I take you to Manchester United. Yes, there you have it. In 2040, they dropped down to the Championship. They only spent a year there, but they were a Championship club. And they nearly got relegated last season again in 2050. But again, Man United aren't the only major team to have been relegated, because Liverpool did it as well, and they have been even worse than Man United. They've been a bit of a yo-yo club, to be honest. First time they went down was in 2038. They came straight back up, had a season in the Premier League, back down in 2041, and then they got promoted again in 2044. Since then, they've gone up and down and up and down. Managed by Jack Colback, of all people, Liverpool are a yo-yo club in 2051. Burnley, one of the richest clubs in the world. Well, they were previously. I don't think they're as rich as they were 5 or 6 years ago. But for a long time, they were challenging me at Man City for the title, especially spending money and whatnot. As for Europe, I've been fairly dominant when I've been in it. At Manchester City there, 6 Champions League titles. I was beaten by Barcelona. Didn't make it to the final in 2047, which was pretty devastating. The win with Man City was my first one since I did it with Real Madrid in 2038. Newcastle, I won a few. There was that devastating first final in 24, beaten by Shakhtar Donetsk. No real surprise names winning the Champions League. Bayer Leverkusen, probably the smallest team to win it alongside Shakhtar. Southampton, they're a surprise package actually. At the start of this simulation, they were rich as anything. They had Lukaku, Firmino, anyone who was any good and wanted a big wedge of cash was going to Southampton. They're not quite as good anymore, sitting 12th in the Premier League in 2051. But there we have it. After 37 years, I have dominated 3 countries and I'm trying my best to do it in a 4th. Can I do it? Do you want to find out? Let me know in the comments below. But I just thought I'd bring you this little change of pace. This has been my favourite season. It's been, you know, the past year has been tough during lockdown. If it wasn't for this save, I would have been a lot more sad. A lot more sad? That's terrible English. I would have been a bit more upset. I would have been a bit more, you know, a lot lower. But this was an excellent way to just spend the time, throw yourself into something which you all know because we all love Football Manager. And I just thought I'd update you on what I've been doing. It's been well worth it. We will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.